Conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have discussed about MVC architecture, and we have discussed what exactly MVC architecture and what it describes, and what exactly the model and how can we design the model part of your application, and what exactly the view, how can we design our own user interfaces, and what exactly the controller, how to build the business logics we have discussed. And then we have discussed Salesforce is purely supporting MVC architecture. Salesforce purely supports MVC architecture. Upon building your own application, Salesforce purely supports MVC architecture. As part of this MVC, we have discussed how Visualforce will use that MVC architecture, that is called as classic MVC, and how Lighting Framework will use this MVC architecture, how this Lighting MVC will look like, we have discussed in the previous session. Then, so what exactly the client side controller, what exactly the server side controller, how to implement them, we have discussed in the previous session. Now, so now in today's session, we are going to discuss how can we create our own lighting applications. How to create a lighting application, we'll see with the practical use cases today. Now, so that already told you in the previous session, Lightning framework is purely built upon component-based framework. Lightning framework is purely built upon component-based framework. That means whatever the features we are implementing as part of this application, each feature will be implemented in the form of a component. So whatever the features we are going to implement as part of this application development, each feature will be implemented in the form of component. Then what do you mean by component? Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code. Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code which contains certain functionalities which can be referenced in multiple places of your application development. So whenever we are developing the application in different places, we can use this feature just by embedding this component inside your application wherever you want. That's what we have discussed. Where we can use this lighting components, we have discussed in previous session. Like lighting components can be used in lighting applications also, lighting pages also, record pages also, lighting tabs also, in community sites also, and then we can able to use these components in other platforms as well. So component is nothing but a piece of reusable code which can be designed once, which can be developed once, and once a component has been developed, we can use this component in different places of your application development. Now, in this case, how can we use these components inside the applications? Now, let me explain. Now, for example, I'm designing a lighting application. So this is the application. It may be banking, finance, insurance, healthcare, anything. So now this is the application that I'm going to build. I want to build an application. I'm creating a lighting application. In this lighting application, we can provide so many features. I'm building various features as part of this application development. Like I'm building a feature here. This is one feature. I will explain the concept first. I will give the notes here. Then we'll see practical. Now, so now I'm adding one feature here. Here I'm building one more functionality. I'm adding one more feature. And here I'm implementing one more feature over here. Now, so now inside this feature, I would like to add some more features also here. This is another feature. And this is another feature. Now, so in this case, whatever the features we are implementing as part of this application, each and every feature is nothing but a component. Every feature is nothing but a component. Now this is the component 1. This is the component 1. This is a separate component. This is one more component, component 2. This is another component here, component 3. Component 3. This is another component, component 4. Now this parent component is component 5. Component 5 is a parent component over here. So in this case, what happened? We are going to be placing a collection of components inside an application. So simply we can say, when coming to the Lightning application contains a collection of Lightning components and HTML elements. It contains a collection of Lightning components and HTML elements. HTML elements means what? In order to arrange these components in different places according to our convenience, we can use some HTML tags. With the help of this HTML tags, we can place these components in different places. Now this component will be occupying the complete browser space over here. This component will be visible in this particular part only here. Now it is occupying up to this part only here. Now and then we are having one more component here. This is the component. And inside that I'm placing one more child component over here. And inside this we are placing one more child component. So these are all our components. That's what I told you. Lightning framework is purely built upon component based framework. Each and every functionality we have to implement in the form of component. So now this is the component 1, this is component 2, third component, fourth component, fifth component. So now this each component contains its own functionality, its own feature. So now here in this case here, when coming to the component is nothing but a piece of reusable code. Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code which contains certain functionality which we can use in different places of your application development. That means we can develop once, we can use it in different places whenever you want, wherever you want. You can use that component in your application also, in Lightning tab also, in Lightning community also, in Lightning record page also, different places. Directly we can drag and drop. That means develop once, reuse in multiple places whenever you want, wherever you want. So that here, whatever the features we are going to implement, each feature we are implementing in the form of small components. Like for example, assume that we have a laptop. Now this laptop is not a single part. Because if they're preparing this laptop as a single part, if any of the feature is not working, then we have to replace the whole laptop again. For that one, what they did, the whole functionality they have divided into small components here. Like we have a screen, a separate feature, keyboard, separate component, mouse, separate component, hard disk, separate component, processor, separate component, motherboard, separate component, SMPS, separate components. So each and every feature they have implemented in the form of separate components. They're assembling all the components together to make it as a product. In future, if any of that feature is not working, if any of the component is not working, just we can replace that particular part itself here. So we no need to replace the whole laptop. We can replace only that particular part. We can make the changes in that particular part itself. Like the similar way here also, we are preparing this Lightning application. Lightning application contains a collection of features that each feature is nothing but a component. That's what we can say. Lightning framework is purely built upon component based framework. It is purely supporting SPA architecture. Okay, SPA architecture. SPA architecture means a single page application architecture. Okay, SPA architecture means single page application architecture. The page is only one. On a single page, we can able to place the multiple components also. Each component will be having its own functionality, which is used to perform certain operations here. Okay. So in this case, simply we can say Lightning application can be implemented with the help of a collection of Lightning components and HTML elements. Now, we can place a group of components inside a single application. Now, here you can raise a question. Sir, in the previous session we have discussed, there we have two types of Lightning frameworks are available. We have ARA framework, we have Lightning Web Component frameworks. Now, in this case, whenever I'm creating a Lightning application, whatever the components we are going to use, all the components will be ARA components. All the components will be Lightning Web components. Or do we have any possibility to mix both into a single application? Yes, we can mix both. That already told you in the previous session also. Assume that this component is purely an ARA component here. For example, this is built by using ARA component. Now this is a Lightning Web component. This is Lightning Web component. This is Lightning Web component here. This component 5 is ARA component. Now tell me, can we use Lightning Web component inside ARA component? No. Inside ARA component, can we use Lightning
Yes,
Web
sir.
component? Yes. Inside Lightning Web component, can we use ARA component? No, that is not possible
No.
here. Yesterday I told you that functionality also. I have given the note points also over here. Now, so whenever we are building this Lightning components, as part of this Lightning components over here. Suppose for example, we are having few Lightning components are available here. Let me explain. Now, here we have discussed over here. So now assume that we are having these two components are available. Component 1. This is an ARA component here. In order to build that Lightning components, we have two frameworks from Salesforce. First one, ARA framework, which has been introduced by Salesforce in the year 2016. Second one, Lightning Web Component framework, which they have introduced in like 2018 December. These are the two frameworks are available from Salesforce as part of this Lightning framework. We have discussed the complete history in our starting session over there. Now there here, upon building this Lightning component, we can use either ARA or Lightning Web Component. But Lightning Web Component is the latest one from Salesforce. Now, so in this case, within a single application, we can use both ARA components, Lightning Web components also, because both are having coexistence. In that case, there is a limitation here. Now, what is that limitation? Now, let's see. For example, I have a component which is built by using ARA framework. Now, inside this ARA component here, I would like to use two more components here because component 1 is a parent, and the component 2 is a child, component 3 is a child. Now, in this case, inside the ARA component, we can use LW ARA components also, Lightning Web components also, both we can use. But when coming to the second scenario, so now the component 1 is a Lightning Web component. Inside the Lightning Web component, we can't use ARA component here, only Lightning Web components we can use it here. That is a limitation we have discussed. Clear? So now, inside one Lightning Web component, we can able to use only Lightning Web components over here, not ARA components. When you try to use this one, Salesforce won't support. Okay? Understood the concept here? Now. So now here in this case, let's see. So now whenever we are building an application, a Lightning application contains a collection of Lightning components inside that. Okay, a Lightning application contains a collection of Lightning components inside that. So in that case, whenever we are going to be preparing this Lightning components, so now we can use either Aura framework, Lightning Web Component framework, both. So inside a single application, we can place both Lightning Web components also, Aura components also, both we can mix together within a single application itself. So in that case, when coming to the Lightning application, bodies will be built with the help of HTML elements and Lightning Web components over here. Okay, as part of the Lightning application, that should be prepared with the help of HTML elements. That means HTML tags also we can use, and we can use Lightning Web components also. Both we can able to mix together inside the Lightning application. Now, so now in this case, whenever we are going to preparing the Lightning application, each Lightning application should be start and ends with a tag called as Aura application tag. Each and every Lightning application will be starting with a tag called as Aura application. I will give the notes also here. This is the starting of the application, and here we can able to place whatever the HTML elements that you want and whatever the Lightning components you want. We can able to place all these things inside that. It will be having that by Aura application. By Aura application. So now this tag is indicating that this is a Lightning application. So now inside this application, here we can able to place your own components. You can place HTML elements also, Lightning components also. These Lightning web components can be either Aura or LWC, both. We can able to mix together. Depends upon your requirement, we can able to place. Understood the concept here? Clear up to this one? Now, so in this case, whenever we are preparing a Lightning application, each Lightning application should be starts and end with the tag Aura application tag. Now this is the starting of the tag. This is the ending of the tag. In between these tags here, we can able to design your own application functionality, whatever you want. In this application, we can place some HTML tags also over here, like as bold tag, italic tag, and then break tag. Like that, whatever the tags that you want, we can use all the HTML tags also. Along with that, we can place Lightning Web components also. It may be Aura components, it may be Lightning Web components also. Both we can mix together within a single application. That facility is available. Understood the concept here? Now, let's see. For example, I'm going to my Salesforce org. I'm going to my Salesforce org now. Now I'm accessing sales application. This is a sales application I'm accessing right now. Now, when you observe this sales application, this application is purely made up of a collection of components here. It is having so many components. This is a sales application here, LG sales application. Now, this application contains so many components up to this part. This is a separate component here. This part, it's a separate component. This part is a separate component. This part is a separate component. These are all are separate components over here, which they have combined together in order to make it as an application. Now, in this component here, we are having some buttons. These buttons are also called as components. Generally, we are calling it as a button. In Lightning framework, everything will be called as a component. Button, component. Text box, component. Checkbox, component. Table, component. When you mix all these things, this is also called as component. Okay, so all are called as components only here. Everything will be referred as components. So because it is purely built upon component based framework, we are going to be using all these components together to form your own functionality. Now we can able to use that functionality in different places of your application development. These are all are separate component. This is the component one. This is the second component. This is a third component. This is the fourth component. Like that, here they're placing so many components over here. Now this is quarterly performance is a separate component. Today's event separate component. Today's task separate component. Recent records, key deals. These are all are the separate components that we have as part of your application development. So we can develop your own components. We can place those components inside your application wherever you are. Clear? Then how to place the components here? Now let me show you. Just you can click on setup menu. You will be having a button called as edit page button. Okay, edit page. So now you can develop your own components also. Those components will be getting visible over here. Here it is indicating in the left panel we have standard 37. That means there are 37 ready-made components given by Salesforce over here. There are 37 ready-made components given by Salesforce. These are all are 37 ready-made components. Now here you can develop your own custom components also. Whatever the components you have built by using ARA and LWC, those will be visible in these custom components here. As of now, we haven't developed any custom components. That's what it is showing custom of 0. No custom components you have built. Once you have developed the component will be visible here. Directly you can drag and drop. Okay, so wherever you want, we can place this. So develop once and place it in multiple places wherever you want. Okay, so whatever the components you have developed, those components will be visible under this custom components. From here directly you can drag and drop onto your application wherever you want. Clear? Understood the concept now? So that's what I told you. Component is nothing but a piece of reusable code which can be developed once and which can be reusable in different places of your application development. We can develop the component once. The same component we can use it in Lightning application also, Lightning page also, Lightning record page also, and the Lightning community also, Lightning tab also, Lightning quick action also. In various places we can use that. So develop once, reuse in multiple places whenever you want, wherever you want. Okay, understood the concept here? Now, so then in this case, how to create our own Lightning application in Salesforce? Now let me show you with the practical use case. Before that, make a note of these points over here. I will give that. Okay, navigation also, how to create the Lightning application. We'll see with practical. Now, Lightning application contains a collection of Lightning components. Lightning application contains a collection of Lightning components. That is, we can group a collection of components into an application. Lightning framework purely supports component based framework where each functionality should be implemented in the form of components. Now, Lightning supports SPA architecture. That is single page application architecture. single page application architecture. That is, within a single page, within a Lightning page, we can place multiple components. Now, Lightning application body should be built by using HTML elements and Lightning components. We can place both Ara and Lightning Web components inside an application. Each Lightning application code should get start and ends with Ara application tag. Ara application tag. The syntax is Ara application by Ara application. Here we can able to write that code. We can place HTML elements and Lightning components. Yes, we will see LWC later. Okay, initially we'll go with ARA components, then we'll go with that Lightning Web component. But application is common. This is common for everyone. Yes, components are different. Okay, how to define the component that is different in ARA and LWC, but both the components we can place in same application only. Yes, we have. In LWC we have tags. ARA also we have tags. LWC we have tags. Done with this? Then how can we create our own Lightning application? Now let me give you the navigation here. Now, we can create the Lightning application as below. As below. Click on Setup menu. Click on Developer Console. Go to the Developer Console editor. Click on File menu, New menu item. Select that option as Lighting Application. Enter the application label and the name and the description. Click on Submit button. Then observation, it will create a new lighting application. Write the code inside the application. That is, we can place HTML elements and lighting components. Save the application by using Ctrl S. Save the application by using Ctrl S. Now click on Preview button to run the application and view the results in the browser. View the results in the browser. This is a navigation we used to follow to create your own custom lighting application in Salesforce. Done with the navigation? Now, let's see. So in order to create your own lighting application, this is the navigation we used to follow. Now, let's see. So let me show you the navigation first, how to create that lighting application, and then we'll see lighting application bundle. Upon creating the lighting application, we are having some collection of resources are available. A group of resources, a group of files are available that is called as lighting application bundle. Then what are those resources are available? We'll see one by one. Now, let's go to the setup menu. Click on developer console. Go to the developer console editor. Click on file menu, new menu item. Here we are selecting the option called as lightning application. So what you want to create? Lightning application or component or interface or token or event or what? What you want to create? I want to create lightning application now. Click on lightning application. Now it will ask you to specify the application name and the description and then click on submit button. Now let's see. Now I'm giving this application over here. I'm giving the application name as test application. Now, whenever we are starting the application name, better to start the application name with LA underscore. Because here to indicate whenever we are creating this lightning related features, it may be lightning component or lightning application or token or interface or event, then we are following some notation for our easy identifications. Like each and every lightning application name should be prefixed with LA underscore. That means we can understand this is a lightning application. Suppose if it is a lightning component, we are using LC underscore because to indicate this is a lightning component. If it is a lightning interface, we are using LI. If it is a lightning token, we are using LT. If it is a lightning event, we are using LE underscore. So these are some naming conventions and the coding standards we used to follow in the real time to differentiate. Just by looking into the name itself, we can understand is it what? Is it a lightning component or application or token or event or interface or what? We can identify very easily just by looking into the name itself. So that I'm indicating the name as LA underscore and then we can give the application name whatever you want. Now, I would like to indicate here. This is a test application. I'm just giving the description over here. Specify the description. Now click on submit button. Just we can enter the application label, that means name and the description. Click on submit button. As soon as once you click on submit button, now your lightning application will be getting prepared. So upon preparing the lightning application, it is providing this two tags over here. Now starting and the ending of this ARA application, because that already told you each and every lightning application will be starting and ending with ARA application by ARA application. This is the starting of that ARA application. This is the ending. Ending tag will be always starting with a forward slash over here. The forward slash is indicating this is the ending. This is the starting tag. This is the ending tag here. Generally, whenever we are writing some piece of code in Apex programming, to indicate the block, we are using curly braces. To end that block, we are using ending curly braces. So instead of using this one, this is the starting, this is the ending. Here we are using, this is the ARA application, this is the end of the ARA application. This is the starting tag, this is the ending tag. Clear? So now here in between this, here we can write whatever the code that you want. You can place your own content also. It may be HTML tags also, lightning components also, ARA components also. All these things we can place inside this ARA application. Within an ARA application, that means inside a lightning application, we can place your own lightning components and HTML elements, whatever you want. Okay, clear? Now, this is a navigation we used to follow to create a lightning application. But upon creating this lighting application, we are going to be using a collection of resources. We are going to use a collection of resources that is called as lighting application bundle. In that lighting application bundle, these are the total 7 files are available here. These are called as 7 resources. There are 7 files are available or 7 resources are available in lighting application bundle. Like the first one, we are having application file. Second one, controller file. Third one, helper file. Fourth one, style file. Fifth one, renderer file. Sixth one, and then we are having that file called as, okay, that is for the SVG file, and the next one, RA documentation. That means a documentation file. Total 7 files are available here. We have application file, controller, helper, style, documentation, SVG, and then renderer. Total 7 files. Each file will have its own significance. In which file, what piece of code we need to write? Now let me explain one by one here. Each file will have its own extension. Like if it is an application file, it is having the extension .app. Application file extension will be .app. Controller file extension will be .js. JS means what? JavaScript. Now helper file also .js. Style file will be having the extension .css, cascading style sheet. Documentation file will be having the extension .radoc. .radoc. This is the extension. Renderer file will be having the extension .js. SVG file will be having the extension .svg. Scalar vector graphics. Okay, scalar vector graphics. These are the total 7 files are available, which we are going to use as part of your lighting application bundle. Now, when moving forward, okay, after this applications concept, we'll discuss about that lighting component. How to build the component, we'll see that here. There we are having component bundle again. In this component bundle, you will have this same 7 files along with one more additional file that is called as a design file. You will be having 8 files in lighting component bundle, 7 files in lighting application bundle here. Okay. So now, as part of this lighting application bundle, we are having 7 files or the 7 resources are available, which we can use upon building that lighting application. We are having application file, controller file, helper file, style file, documentation file, renderer file, SVG file. So these are the 7 files are available, because in the entry point of view, it's a common question here. So what exactly the lighting application bundle? What exactly component bundle? What files are available? It's a common question. Okay, clear? Now let me explain each and every file one by one here, and I will be giving the notes points as well here. Let's see. Now, lighting application bundle. While building the lighting application, we can use a collection of resources. We can use a collection of resources. We can use a collection of resources as below. Now, lighting application bundle contains the below 7 resources are files. First one, application file, which is having the extension .app. Second one, controller file, which is having the extension .js. Third one, helper file, which is having the extension .js. Fourth one, style file, which is having the extension .css. Fifth one, documentation, which is having the extension .rrdoc. Sixth one, renderer file, which is having the extension .js. Seventh one, SVG file, which is having the extension .svg. These are the total 7 files are available as part of your Lightning application bundle. Whenever we are building this Lightning application, we can use a collection of resources. So with the help of these resources, we can build your own Lightning application also. Done with this? Now, the first one, application file. Then what this application file contains, that means what content we need to write in each and every file. Let me explain. First one, application file. Application file contains the Lightning component and the HTML elements. So whenever we are building your own Lightning application, so this is the main file, this is the base file. Remaining all the files are optional. If you want, you can use. If you don't want, leave it, no problem. But application file is a base file, it's a mandatory file. So now this application file contains the actual HTML elements and the Lightning components. Upon designing your Lightning application, whatever the Lightning components you are going to place, whatever the HTML tags you are going to use, whatever the content you are going to represent, everything we have to place inside application file. So this is a base file, this is a mandatory file, okay, for each and every Lightning application. Okay, now let's see. This file contains the body of the Lightning application, which includes HTML elements and Lightning components, which includes HTML elements and Lightning components. Note. We can embed both ARA components and LWC components inside a Lightning application. Done with this? Now, let's see. The second one, controller file. Now tell me, controller file contains what? Business logic. Now, what business logic here? Client side, server side. Client side. How do you know client side? This file extension is what?
JavaScript.
This file extension is what? .js. JS means what? JavaScript. JavaScript we are using where? In client side or server side? Client side. Okay, so in order to write that client side business logic, that means client side business logic will be executing where? Inside the browser here, not in the Salesforce server. So now here in the previous session also, I told you here, there are two types of controllers here, client side controller, server side controller here. Client side controller will be prepared by using JavaScript, which will be having the extension .js. Server side controller will be prepared by using Apex programming. Apex class code extension will be .apexc. Now, here that already told you as part of Lightning framework, most of the business logics we are implementing through JavaScript. Okay, not Apex programming. So that here, this controller file contains the client-side business logic which you want to perform in within the browser itself. Within the browser, whatever the operations you are going to perform, those operations related business logic we can able to implement by using JavaScript. So, as part of this Lightning application, whatever the client-side business logic that you want to use, that business logic we can implement through JavaScript inside this controller file. So that here, as part of this application file, we are placing HTML tags. That means a designing tag over here, like as text boxes, buttons, check boxes, pick list controls. All these things we can able to place inside application file. Now, upon click on the button control, what operation you want to do, that operation related logic we have to write in controller file here. Observe the functionality here. They are going to be dividing the functionality to various small files. Designing part into separate file and the business logic file into separate file here. Clear? So now here in this case, we should be aware of all these files and which piece of code we have to write where that we need to implement inside this. Okay, that's what they have given this. Okay, various files as part of this Lightning application bundle. Clear? Now let's see. This file contains the client side business logic to be used to perform the operations within the browser. It should be implemented with the help of JavaScript. It should be implemented with the help of JavaScript. Done with this? Next, helper file. Then what do you mean by this helper file now? Helper file extension is what? JS. That means what? JavaScript. Then what we are going to write in this file here? Code. Okay, right. That is for what? Already we are writing the business logic in controller file. Then why should we go for helper file now? Hmm.
Does it contain frequently asked questions or
Now,
any documentation?
so within a single application, we are placing multiple components over here. Now, as part of this application related, whatever the business logic is required, which you want to execute in browser, we can write inside the controller file. Controller file. Now, for example, I want to prepare some business logic which can be used by different components available inside my application. In my application, okay, there are multiple components are available. For all these components related, some common logic I would like to write, some common methods I would like to implement. Those common functionalities we need to implement inside the helper. Okay, helper file is used to write some common business logics or the common methods which can be utilized by the multiple components available inside your application. In such cases, those common functionalities and the common methods we are implementing through helper file with the help of JavaScript. Application specific business logic we can write in controller file. Related to the components, there are some common features I want to use. That common business logics we can write inside that helper file over here. Okay, clear? Now, make a note of this one. This file contains the common methods which can be referenced in multiple components of the application. Multiple components on the application. It should be implemented by using JavaScript. Done with this? Next file. Style file. What this style file contains? Style of your application. That means what? Colors, font, style, size, alignments, okay, the borders, whatever you want. So in this case, whenever if you want to make your application look like attractive, if you want to do some makeup, so that makeup toolkit is nothing but our style file. So in this makeup toolkit, you will be having so many features which we can able to do some makeup for your application so that it will look like attractive. So that here, in order to apply your own background colors, text colors, font, style, size, divisions, alignments, all these functionalities we can implement with the help of style file. So which will be having the extension .css. That means CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Okay, CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Cascading style sheets. So it contains the styles to be get applied for your application. Whatever the styles that you want to apply for your application, those styles we can able to place inside that style file. Okay, now This file contains all the custom styles can be applied for the lighting application. For the lighting application. For example, background color, text color, font, style, size, alignments, etc. Now, so we can design our own custom styles also. So which you want to apply for your application. So now here in this case, you can raise a question. Sir, do we have any ready-made styles? Yes. Salesforce is providing a collection of built-in styles also. Okay, that is called as lighting design system. Salesforce provides a lighting design system which is called as a library which contains a collection of styles which has been given by lighting framework. So as part of lighting framework, you no need to design all the styles by your own manually. Most of the styles has been given by Salesforce as part of lighting design system, so which we can directly reference. Suppose if the existing ready-made styles are not at all suitable, then only we can design your own styles by using this style file here. Okay, we can try to use ready-made styles given by Salesforce from lighting design system. If those styles are not at all suitable, then we can come to the style file and you can prepare your own style whatever you want. Now, when moving forward, we'll see what exactly lighting design system, where it is available, how to use them, we'll see with practical. Now, make a note. Salesforce provides a library called as lighting design system, which contains a collection of built-in styles can be referenced in lighting application development. In lighting application development, we can directly reference those ready-made styles given by Salesforce. Then how to go to that lighting design system? Here I'm giving the website here, www.lightingdesignsystem. By using that websites, we can go to that lighting design system directly. We can reference. Done with this? Next, documentation file. So what exactly the documentation file, what it contains? What did you understood with this name? Sorry? Relevant documents, okay. Any more thing? No, not static resources. The document object is separate. In classic part, document object is separate. This documentation file is separate. So whenever we are purchasing any product, it may be laptop, it may be mobile, it may be TV, anything. Along with the product, you are getting a user manual, right? Yes. That user manual is going to be indicating that how to use this product, what options are available, what features are available, how to use them. They're indicating in a user manual like as user guide. Like the similar way, once application has been developed, in future, if you want to give some description about this application, if you want to give some comments about this application to the other people, then we can use the help of documentation file. So documentation file is used to provide the documentations or description or comments about this application. So what exactly this application, what is the use of this application, what features are available. If you want to give some comments, then we can go with the help of documentation file here. Okay, the detailed information of this application we can describe in the documentation file, which is having the extension .rrdoc. Okay, the file extension will be rrdoc. Clear? Now, this file contains the documentation or comments about the Lightning application. Next one, renderer file. Basically, renderer file is used to implement our own custom rendering mechanism. Rendering in the sense of display, how the application has to be visible, how the application should be displayed to indicate that we can build our own custom rendering mechanism with the help of JavaScript. So that here we are using the help of this renderer file. This file contains the custom rendering mechanism to be implemented for the application. It should be implemented by using JavaScript. Next, the last file, SVG, Scalar Vector Graphics. Then what this file contains here? Graphic related means what? Icons, images, pictures, animations, all these things we can able to place inside that. Now, so basically, SVG file is used to prepare your own custom images, your own custom icons, which you are going to reference inside the application. Inside your application development, whatever the images, whatever the pictures, whatever the icons you are going to use, all those images and the pictures we can design by using this SVG file. But by default, Lightning Framework provides a collection of icons also as part of Lightning design system. As part of Lightning design system, Salesforce provides a collection of built-in icons. If those icons are not suitable, if you want to design your own icon, you want to design your own image, then we can use the help of this SVG file here. Okay? Now, this file contains the custom icons and images to be get referenced in the Lightning application. So whatever the custom images and the custom icons you want to reference inside the Lightning application, all those images will be available inside this SVG file. These are the total 7 files are available as part of your Lightning application. In that Lightning application bundle, these are the 7 files are available. We have application file, we have controller file, helper file, style file, documentation file, renderer file, and then we are having SVG file. These are the total 7 files are available in Lightning application bundle. Because it's a common question in most of the interviews, could you please describe about Lightning application bundle? Could you please describe about Lightning component bundle? It's a common question. When you go to the component bundle, you will be having same 7 files will be available here. But except this application, instead of this application, you will be having component file over there, which will be having the extension .cmp. And then additionally, you will be having one more file, design file. Okay, total 8 files will be available over there that we'll see later. Clear up to this one? Now. So now here in this case, these are the various resources or the files that we are going to use upon building your own lighting application. So that's what here, when you try to create a lighting application, we can able to see all these 7 files in the right panel over here. This is application file by default, which is having the extension. The application file extension is .app. Now, when you click on controller file, now this is the extension here, .js, which is a JavaScript file. Helper, this is also having the extension .js file. Style, this will be having the extension .css. It is having the extension .css. Documentation, which will be having the extension .rdoc. Here's the documentation file over here. Okay, you can give the description of your application. And then renderer file. This is a JavaScript file here. .js files. Okay, you can render your own overriding here. SVG file. You can prepare your own XML by using XML formats. You can prepare your own images. You can prepare your own icons also here, which will be having the extension .svg. These are the total 7 files are available as part of your lighting application bundle. But all the files are not mandatory. Only application file is required. Remaining all the files are optional. Whenever if you want to write that corresponding logic, then we can able to use the file. We can write it over here. Clear? Understood the concept now? Now. So in this case, how can we create our own custom lighting application? How to represent some message? Now let's see with a practical here. Clear? Now. Understood the concept till now? What exactly application? What it contains? And what are the various resources are available in application bundle? All these things? Now.
Sir,
Yes.
so could you explain once again the render and SVG?
Now. Renderer file is used to build your own custom rendering mechanism. By default, lighting framework is having its own rendering mechanism. That means which will be representing your lighting application. Instead of using that custom rendering mechanism, if you want to build your own custom rendering mechanism, then we can able to build it. For that one, we are using JavaScript, and there we can indicate how my component should be, application should be get visible, that we can indicate. And SVG file is used to design your own custom icons, your own images, which you want to use inside your application development.
For
Okay?
SVG is only for editing purpose, only no, sir?
No, only for icons, only for icons. Okay, icons and images.
Okay, not for the font style, not like that.
No. Font style, all these things will be in style file. Okay, fonts and everything will be in style file. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, so let's take a small use case now. How can we create a lighting application? Create a lighting application to represent the welcome message on the browser. In order to represent the welcome message on the browser, I want to build a small lighting application. Then how can we represent this welcome message on the browser through this lighting application? Now let's see. Done with this? Now let's see. Now tell me, how can we create my own lighting application now? Tell me the navigation. Go to the developer console, click on file menu, New menu item, Lightning application. Right. Click on Lightning application. I'm giving the application name here. Now here I would like to specify welcome message application. Now I'm giving some description. This application will represent welcome message on the browser. I'm giving some description about that application here, why I'm creating this. So now this application will represent welcome message on the browser. This is the application name that I have prepared. Click on submit button. Now the application will be getting prepared. Now tell me where we can write that content here. In which file you want me to write this content? We have total 7 files are available. In these 7 files, in which file you want me to write that content? I want to show some welcome message like as welcome to Lightning Framework. Then where we can write? In which file you want me to write?
Application.
Inside that which file? In application file itself here. Because the application file is a base file. This is a root file from where your application execution will get started. So that here, these are all our supporting files. Remaining all are supporting files. Your controller file, helper, style, these are all our supporting files over here. Because these are not mandatory, these are all the remaining 6 files are optional. Okay, but only that application file is mandatory file here. What content you want to represent, we can able to write over there. Suppose for that content, if you want to apply the style, then come to the style file over here. If you want to execute some logic, then we can go to controller file. Like that here depends upon the need. We can use it. Remaining we can able to ignore that. Now, so in this case here, as part of this Lightning application development, these are the 7 files are available. But whatever the content you are going to represent, we are going to placing inside that application file. In this application file, we can design your own user interface. Whatever the visual appearance controls that you want, like as text boxes, button controls, check boxes, radio buttons, pick list controls, table controls, whatever the controls you want to use to design your user interface, the whole functionality we can place inside application file. Okay? Understood the concept now? Now, the whole designing part will be available inside this application file. Now I want to show some static message here. Welcome to Lightning Framework. I want to show the message, okay, welcome to Lightning Framework. Now I want to show the content here. I'm printing one more message here. This is my first Lightning application. This is my first Lightning application. Now this is the content I want to represent. So I'm printing the content over here. It's a static content I want to print. Welcome to Lightning Framework. And then I'm giving the message. This is my first Lightning application. Now once the code has been getting prepared here. Now tell me, is this code has been saved or not? Not saved. How do you know? Now it is indicating star symbol here. Now I would like to save. How to save this code now? Control S. Okay, we are using Control S. Now the file code has been saved or not? Yes. Okay, now. So now in this case here, now we are going to be writing some content over here. This is a static content which I would like to print on my browser. So that I'm writing that content inside this application file. Once the code has been getting prepared, then how can we execute this one? How to run this application now? What is the button here? Preview button. So click on preview button in order to run the application here. Application will get run. Whatever the message that you have printed, the message will be getting visible on your browser. Okay. Whatever the content that you have specified, that content will be visible on your Lightning component over here and the Lightning application on the browser itself. Clear? Now, so here you can raise a question. Sir, I'm placing 2 sentences over here. This is the first sentence. This is the second sentence here. Now, both the sentences are visible in the same line. But my requirement is this is second sentence I want to place in the second line. What can I do? Break tag. As part of HTML, we have break tag is available. Can we use HTML tags in my Lightning application? Yes, that's what I told you. Lightning application body should be built by using HTML elements and Lightning components here. So I'm using break tag. Now this break tag is moving the cursor to next line. I want to give one more empty line over here. Then we can use one more break tag here. Okay, the first break tag is moving the cursor from second line to third line, and then the second break tag will move the cursor from third line to fourth line. So you will get one complete line space empty in between these two sentences. Okay, now click on save by using Ctrl S. Now click on update preview button here. Now it is going to printing that message whatever we have prepared. So whatever the content that you have prepared, the content will be getting visible in two separate lines over here. In between these two, we are getting one empty line space also over there. Okay, clear? Now for example, I want to show the second sentence in bold format. How can we show the second sentence in bold format then? Bold tag. We are having this a B tag here. This is a bold starting tag, and then ending tag we need to write at the last. Now, starting of the bold tag, ending of the bold tag. In between these two, whatever the content that you have prepared, this whole content will be visible in bold format here. Now, save the content, click on update preview. Now we can see first line will be visible with the normal font, second sentence will be visible with bold style. Okay, so that here upon designing your own Lightning application, we can able to use the help of HTML elements also, and along with that we can use Lightning components also over there. Clear? Understood the concept now? Now, this is a way we can able to build your own Lightning applications as part of your Lightning framework. Okay, this is the first example here. In tomorrow's session, we'll see some more examples also one by one with the practical here. How to create some more Lightning application to show some different content, to represent some tables, to use some divisions also, to apply some table structures, to apply some fonts. Everything we'll see one by one in tomorrow's session. Okay. So tomorrow we'll see the some more practical use cases on Lightning applications. Done with this? Now, tomorrow we'll see some more practical use cases on Lightning applications. Then we'll see Lightning component and the component bundle, and then various resources. How to prepare the Lightning components, we'll see one by one. Okay? Just do the practice on this feature, okay, in today, so that you can feel comfortable with the navigation upon creating Lightning application, and the files and the resources, you can feel comfortable with that. Okay? Tomorrow we'll see some more practical use cases. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
This conference will now be recorded.